What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing to you another monthly debt payoff update. This time it is for the month of April 2021. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lo, and my husband and I are working on paying off six-figure debt. We started out with $369,000 of debt in January of 2020, and slowly, painfully, month by month, week by week, we have been paying that down. We started out with a car loan, multiple credit cards, undergraduate student loans, and graduate school student loans, and now we've paid off everything except for the graduate school student loans. So those are the biggest loans, but they also have the lowest interest rate, and so we paid off all the high interest debt and now are just attacking our last two loans on our debt-free journey. Every month on my channel, I share with you guys what our goals were for the prior month, if we accomplished those goals, all the payments we made, what the new balances are, and what our goals are for the next month. I do this for a couple of reasons. One, because it keeps me accountable, keeps me on track, and keeps me motivated. And two, if you guys have debt and you are looking for debt payoff inspiration, I hope that our journey inspires you. When I looked at that number a year and a half ago, over $300,000, almost $400,000 of debt, not including our mortgage, it was so overwhelming. And we don't have any magic secrets or special stuff we're doing. All we're doing is trying to make more money, spend less, and put the difference towards debt. So let's talk about all of our goals for April and if we hit them. So for April debt goals, we wanted to pay about $3,500 towards student loans. $3,044 is just what our minimum payments are between my husband's graduate school loan and my graduate school loan. And then we planned to put $450 in extra payments to my husband's loan. We are targeting that one first because it is about half the size of my student loan, and so we're trying to pay that one off and then throw everything extra to my loan once his is paid off. And our goal was to get our total debt under $290,000. So we were able to accomplish all of these things this month and actually exceed it by some, and I'll get into that in just a minute. Okay, so for debt payments this month, we didn't make that many extra separate payments. Sometimes I do it weekly, sometimes I just do one big payment at the beginning of the month, and sometimes I do like one at the beginning, one at the end. It just depends on how our budgeting is looking that month. This month we had budgeted $450 extra, but it looked like we're gonna have a little bit more than that. So I paid an extra payment of $500 towards my husband's graduate school loan on April 1st. Then on April 17th, my minimum payment auto-drafted from our account, and that's $2,033. Then April 24th, my husband's came out, and that's $1,011. And then at the end of the month, we realized we were gonna have an extra $1,000. It's actually not extra income that came in, but we had put money into an HSA account, which is a health savings account, and we actually have to take $1,000 out of that account because we had our health insurance changed, so we over-contributed based on, you know, the timing of everything for us. So we needed to take $1,000 out of that HSA account, and I didn't do it yet. It's still processing. It'll probably get done sometime this month in May, but I just figured that I know that money's coming back to us, and we have like $10,000 sitting in our emergency fund, so I just would rather make a debt payment now, and then once we get the HSA reimbursement back, I will use that to replenish our emergency fund. So we basically took like $1,000 loan from our emergency fund to make that $1,000 payment, but that will be, you know, replenished pretty soon, and it's still money that's in our name. It's just in an HSA and it needs to be put back into the emergency fund. So anyway, that's where that extra $1,000 came from. So we were able to pay $1,500 extra towards my husband's student loans this month, which brought our total to $4,544 to total payments this month. Now that's how much we paid. That's not how much we paid off. So in order to see how much we paid off, let's jump to the spreadsheet. All right, so this is my debt payoff tracking spreadsheet. I've been using this for like a year and a half to track our debt-free journey. I created this to keep track of all of our payments and all of our different debts as we were getting started, and it's been a great tool for me and my husband to keep track of our debt-free journey and track all of our progress and stay motivated. If you are interested in using this spreadsheet for your debt-free journey, it is actually available for purchase in my Etsy shop. The link to my shop is in the video description, and it is an instant download to Google Sheets. So you just download it, you can start using it right away, and it's super easy. So if you're interested, you can find it in the link in the description. Anyway, we are on year 2 of our debt-free journey. So you can see here, year 1, all of the starting balances for all of our debts. And that shows where we started at $369,673. Just in case you haven't been following me for a while, what we did last year is we paid $79,000 towards debt, $62,277 went towards principal. We paid almost $17,000 in interest, and so at the end of our debt-free journey year 1, we had paid down our debt to $307,396. So let's take a look at what we did in the month of April. So in April, we started out with my husband's student loan with a balance of $94,972. And mine had a balance of $197,641, which totaled to $292 and $613. We paid $4,544 in payments. $3,750 of that went towards principal and $794 went towards interest, which left us a balance of $288,863. So like I said, one of our goals was to hit under $290,000 in debt, and we did hit that. We're actually at $288,863. I do try to celebrate those milestones, like every $10,000 that we pay off, because when you're dealing with just a big lump of debt and it's not like all these little loans, you don't get to celebrate wins as often, because like my husband's student loan, it may take us a couple of years to pay that off, and then from there it'll probably take us several more years to pay off my student loan. So if we don't celebrate certain milestones, then we're just gonna be like going and going and going and not like celebrating our accomplishments along the way. If it would be easier in a way if these were like small $8,000 or $10,000 or $12,000 loans, and they were when they were federal loans, and then we refinanced and consolidated into a private loan, and that's a whole thing that I'll get into. I want to talk a lot more about that in another video, because now that I know what I know, I may or may not have done it. Like, I think it's pretty close. Like, I don't think we necessarily did the wrong thing, but we made a decision without having all the information that we could have. So anyway, I still feel like it was the right thing now that we know more, but it could have maybe gone a different way. So anyway, I'm gonna talk about that more in another video. I digress. But my point is that we definitely need to celebrate our wins along the way. So 288,000 is below that 290. So we're gonna celebrate that win today. That is a big milestone. So as of May 1st, our new balances on our loans were $92,705 for my husband and $196,158 for mine. So my husband's student loan is getting close to under $90,000 now, and so I think that's the next milestone we're going to be looking towards. I think that's what I put on my goals for May, so we'll check that in a second. But just to take a look at total debt paid off, we have paid off $80,810 as of this month, and so, you know, like I said, we have $288,863 to go. But yeah, 20,000 more and we'll have paid off $100,000. So it's taken us, you know, it'll probably take us almost 2 years to pay off 100,000, but then hopefully the next 100 will go faster and faster and faster, because as you pay off debt, you're paying less and less in interest and more towards principal, and so it just ends up going faster as long as you keep paying the same amount towards debt. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's another huge milestone that I'm hoping we'll hit. I think we'll hit it before the end of the year. Yeah, we have to hit it before the end of the year. So let's see, how much have I paid in total payments this year? Just to look real quick, we have paid $21,713. $18,533 went towards principal and $3,180 went towards interest. So, I mean, $3,000 is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but when you've got $300,000 of debt, like, that's pretty good, I feel like, that we've paid towards interest. Like, I feel like that's a good ratio compared to here where we paid like $17,000 in interest. All right, and just to take a quick look at our debt payoff chart, you can see here that we've paid off almost 22% of our debt, 78.1% left to pay, but this little green section gets bigger and bigger by the month. All right, next I've got my debt payoff trackers. These are also available for purchase in my Etsy shop. They're instant downloads, they're PDFs, and you just print them out at home and you can get started right away using them. And I just like these because they're a good visual for the progress that we're making. So first of all, we have my husband's graduate school loan. This is the entire balance of his loan that we had when I started the tracker, which is $100,000. So each piece is $1,000. So this month we paid off $2,267. So I'm gonna fill in 2 pieces and like a third of another one. Hopefully next month we will finish this row because we'll have paid off $10,000 of his loan. Next we've got my student loan. So this is what we're hoping to pay off in 2021. So each piece is worth $720 and we paid off $1,483 this month. So that means we just need to fill in just over 2 lines. And finally we've got our 2021 totals. So we're hoping to pay $50,000 of debt off this year at least. And so we paid off $3,700 and each icon is $2,000. So we're getting there. This is getting pretty full up, but we are a third of the way through the year. So I'm gonna fill in these 2 and 25% of the last one. Okay, so let's take a look at our May debt payoff goals. So I've been back and forth on this a lot as to how much we are going to put towards debt in May. As of right now, we've landed on $3,244, which is $3,044 in regular payments and $200 in extra payments. Now, $200 is not a lot of money compared to the size of our debt. Every payment matters and every payment counts, and I'm proud of all the progress we make, no matter how big or small. But $200 extra for the entire month is not a lot. And if we only do $200 extra, we're not going to hit this goal of $90,000 for my husband's graduate school loan. So there's a little bit of like a disconnect between our goals that I've listed here. And the reason is because we're going back and forth like in our heads about how we want to do certain things. How do I explain what's going on? So basically we have certain savings goals and we're doing really well with our savings goals and we've hit a lot of them. But there's some other stuff we're working on saving for and we're just not exactly sure of the timing of some stuff. So anyway, I'm being very vague and I'll have a lot more to share on this in the coming months. And no, I'm not pregnant. It's something different than that, which that also hopefully will be happening in the next few months. But anyway, we're working on some different goals, and so we're torn between kind of putting more money into our sinking funds, which is where we like hold money separate from our emergency fund that we plan to spend later, or just throwing a bunch to debt. And I know in terms of like the math, it doesn't make sense to hold money in a savings account that's making like no interest versus putting money towards debt where you know you're like getting a 3% return on your money because that's what the interest rate is. But there's also the emotional piece to it, which is, you know, the peace of mind of having enough money set aside for certain things. So that's where we're at. At one point this said that we were gonna pay like $3,000 extra this month, and at another point I brought it down to like $200, and it may end up being somewhere in between. I just don't know exactly depending on how the month goes. But it's really hard to like pull back and not put everything towards debt. And I think if our debt was at like 50,000 or even 100,000, then I could be more like, it's fine, I can let go of, you know, having that extra in savings and just let's get there faster because the end is in sight. But for us, like, you know, $288,000 in debt is some people's mortgage that takes them 30 years to pay off. And so our loans are on a 10-year plan, so no matter what, in 9.5 years, because we refinanced in November of 2020, those loans will be paid off, like unless we refinance them to a longer term, which, you know, unless something catastrophic happens financially, that's not in the plans. But we do want to pay them off much sooner than that 10-year term, but at the same time, like, it's not going to be this year or next year or even the year after that. So we're trying to balance the different goals we have, and that's a really tough thing. I always try to be really transparent with you guys, but also there's some like personal family decisions that we're making on stuff that I don't always share in real time, but I do eventually share. You know, this year has been hard because like I'll show you guys in my next video where I show you where all money went this month, but like this month we put I think like $9,000 into savings and retirement, and $9,000 could have gone to debt payoff, but I know that we're behind on saving for retirement and our debt payoff journey is going to be probably, you know, at least 4 to 6 or more years. So I don't want to not put anything towards savings and retirement. So we're trying to front load all the savings and retirement for the year so then we can pay more towards debt at the end of the year. But that's hard. It's hard to have the self-control to save that money for a future me and not just put it towards debt, which like current me wants paid off. Like that's the pain point for me right now, is not that we don't have enough saved for retirement, you know, 30 years from now, but that this debt, like, we want out of our lives. So that's more of like the urgent thing in my mind. So to have the self-control to put money towards retirement and like sit with the debt is hard. And like it's more exciting to have a fast debt payoff. It's just more exciting. It's more exciting to talk about, it's more exciting to watch, and so to not do that is really hard. It's really hard to hold back. But the thing is, like, in life you want different things and you can't have all of them. So you have to balance all the things you want and prioritize, and then whatever your priority is, you need to make moves in order to accomplish that goal. If your priority is to this and you make moves towards this, then you're not gonna feel as good. So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind as we're like pulling back a little bit for just a few months on our debt payoff to accomplish other financial goals, not to spend money on like a new TV or a new car or something we don't need, but for like really important things. And so yeah, it's hard to do, but if we're not making moves towards what really matters to us, then we're not making the best use of our money anyway. So stay tuned to see if we end up paying only $200 towards our student loans extra on top of our regular payments. I mean, our regular payments are $3,000 a month. It's not a small amount of money. Anyway, I'm just kind of, you know, talking out loud all the stuff that's swirling in my head all the time. So, and that's what I do here with you guys. I talk it out and you guys give me feedback and it's really great. So anyway, if you're not subscribed and you want to follow along and see what we end up paying off next month and in the future, then hit that red subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. If you like the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And comment below and let me know what your priority is for your debt payoff journey or your financial goals this month. I'd love to hear what you guys are working on this month or what you accomplished last month. Comment below and let me know. And I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye.